There's Clyde, man. John Frisbee, hey. Evening. There's Gary. How you doing, Gary? Good evening to you. Randy. Doing good, Clyde. Doing good, man. Staying warm. Playing in this snow. Yeah, man, just waiting to get some people on here. 7 o'clock. I think we got a good discussion going on tonight. Everything going on. So, been doing some research. Had a little bit of time. Stay on the computer. When it snows this heavy, man, I was out plowing and making sure everything keeps clean. Make sure mom can get out and out. You know, just making sure everything's locked down tight. You know, watching two big icicles and stuff. So it's been, but it's also a good time to play on the computer. Kill some time, man. Still having trouble with editing. We're going to try different cameras. I'm having trouble with my camera. Just thank God for Blackie, my brother, and helped me through this computer. Me and Blackie's been on the phone. Got some news with him later on. Hey, Dustin. We're going to, David Smith, hey. We're going to get into discussion of, me and Blackie's going to do a live Sunday on his Facebook page. So he's got his webcam set up, so we're going to try Sunday my time, Eastern Standard Time at 8 o'clock. So remind me, and I'll mention that again in about an hour. But I think it's going to be a good discussion. It's probably more about fire stuff. But you know how it goes. We go everywhere. We start talking, man. But I think it's going to be a good time. Sunday at 8 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time. It'll be 7 o'clock for Blackie. So if you guys get time to tune in, man, because Blackie is a wealth of knowledge. I mean, you can get him talking. And I've learned a lot from it. Learned a lot from it. So we got some people watching. I was just kind of hanging out, letting everybody click on, get started. But I usually give it about 3 or 4 minutes. We'll get going. Dustin, hey brother, good to see you. Yeah, man, give me a text me or message me if you got any questions on one win. I'm not an expert on it, but man, we can work through it pretty easy. I still got questions and adjustments and always playing with them. So yeah, you can hit me up after this or tomorrow, or just hit me up on message, private message. We'll go from there. John, everybody's got a power outage. So guys, tonight I think we got a really good discussion tonight going on. It's about how to stay warm in your house with no heat. I had to go back to, hey Tara, I had to go back to the basics. I actually pulled back up Morris Korhansky, getting some information about there, really thinking about how could I help these people in Texas and stuff like that. You know how I feel, man. I surround myself with a lot of good people. And so I had the questions, and I know we're running late. I wanted to shoot a video on this, but I'm having so much trouble with cameras and stuff like that. I just didn't. I just rather do it Facebook Live. And guys, you can do me a favor. If the information's good, please share it. Okay. Hey, Mike and Eric. Because what we need to do is get our brothers and sisters in Texas and Oklahoma and stuff like that any good ideas. I know Jonathan Burton's down there. He lost his water. It's very cold for them. They get 2 or 3 inches of snow. They ain't used to none of this. I know William Collins had 2 inches or 3 inches of snow, and they're shut down. He's got a wood burning stove in his shop, but they're getting by. But what I want to go back is on my knowledge and what I did and what the old timers did. Now we're going to start with my house. There's Pam, and what we're going to do is talk about. Hey Pam, what we're talking about is how to stay warm in a house that has no heat. And the problem with that is every year, even in Ohio, people put in kerosene heaters and different fire sources, and you hear them about suffocation because it burns up all the oxygen. So if you don't have, if you have a kerosene heater or something like that, you got to be really careful with these guys, man. You can burn up the oxygen and die. It's just that simple. My wife's cousin lost his dad on a hunting trip because the same way, running kerosene heaters. The discussion tonight is that's what I had to do. I've been researching pretty hard about it and kind of remembering what the old timers taught us. Jonathan, that's what we're going to talk about, setting up that tent. The tent is not as good, but if that's all you got, it's good. But I want you to look at my house. My house is 121 years old. It was made in 1900. It's not a very big house. It's a small farmhouse. Hey, Trinity. But if you notice my house, if you see, I'm sitting in my office, which is actually like a third bedroom. See the hinges? And this, when you turn this way up, my steps is going up the stairs. And on the other side, 3 feet away from this is another door. So I have a door here, a door there. Upstairs in the bedroom, there's doors and doors. In this office, I have a bathroom that wasn't here originally. It's added on, has a door. Then going into the kitchen is another door. And then the kitchen has the entry door, then it has the basement door, and then it had a door between the living room and the kitchen. And what I'm getting at is they understood that if you want to stay warm, that is to go small. And this house is designed, I have 3 heating sources in it because of wintertime and I'm out in the country. We do have a time where we lose power. Now, I do not have a wood burning stove, I have a pellet stove, but it requires electricity. My boiler system is full of water, which requires electricity. But in this office, we have a wall hanging propane unit. It's been here, I've actually replaced it. I've been here 23 years. I've replaced it once, it's a newer unit. But I've got a 500-pound cylinder outside this window where I'm sitting. So when that's what my furnace is used. But this is my backup heat that's ventless. It will heat this whole house, believe it or not. And we have before, heated every bit of it. But with the people down in Texas and Arizona and stuff like that, they don't have that option. They didn't have heating sources because they're not used, especially southern Texas. They don't have furnaces in their house or no backup like that. They might be fortunate to have a stove. But this is about the discussion for people who don't have that option, doesn't have a kerosene heater or a propane heater. And I'm going to call it the nesting. What you want to do, and this is my opinion, and this is what the old timers did, they shut everything down to smaller rooms. Now, if I was in Texas and I had no heat in there, a closet. Some of these houses now are built with huge cathedral ceilings. This house has 9-foot ceilings in it. On the old cabins that we used to look at, the ceilings were very low, 5.5, 6 foot. And that was a reason, because they know for this, I'm heating 2 feet up before I could even feel the heat. I could, the heat has to come down to feel it. In this house, when I have my pellet stove on right now, we usually turn this fan on. I turn it off, and it keeps the air circulating. Yeah, they don't even have plow trucks down there. Absolutely. Tom Ritter. Hey, man. Dan Squatch. That's a messed up name, dude. Okay, so back on track. So what I'm telling you about, this is the way I looked at it. Now, I looked at Morse Kohansky again. Last week, I told the human body puts out about a 90-watt light bulb. I misspoke on that. It's a 150-watt light bulb. So everybody knows if you touch a 150-watt light bulb, it's pretty hot. And we're equal to about 300 BTUs, which is British thermo units. So we give off about 300 of them. So we can be our own heat source as long as we have food and oxygen and water. So what I'm suggesting, and I hope you guys pass this on these people down in Texas and get this word out, is if you go into your closet and you take your clothes off the racks and everything like that and lay them on the floor, get you a thermo base, actually put them up on the sides of the wall, called nesting. Then you can use your couch cushions for that, then put your clothes on top of that, anything to lay on. You want to nest that out, because the smaller the area, if you have a family of 2, 3, 4, I know it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight in there, but that's what you want. You don't want to individually get in sleeping bags. What you want to do is stay together and then cover yourself up with the blankets off your bed. When 4 people are in, if each person gives off the same energy as a 150-watt light bulb, you're going to be more than warm enough in below zero temperatures inside your house, because remember, you're inside the house, inside a room inside the house. Now we put over a foot of clothes. Like my wife, I wouldn't have no problem building a good bed. And so, but I want it up on the ceiling, I want to stop that air. Now, is your closet airtight? 90% of the time, not. When we talked about the tent theory, setting it up in your living room, a tent, which works and will hold, but there's no thermal, no insulation properties to that tent. When I go into the closet or the bathroom, I haven't talked about the bathroom, is because the ceiling's going to stop. We're on 4 inches of walls. Average is about 3.5 to 4 inches after you put the drywall and everything on, probably close to 4.5 inches of a wall. Okay, and I can open and close the door. Like my bathroom has a lower ceiling. Closets usually have a lower ceiling, don't have a high cathedral ceiling in them. So when I nest that and I cover up and I get 4 people in there, and if my experience is my reading, if you look at the Inuit, they all sleep together, and basically they sleep together naked. I'm not suggesting that, I'm just telling you, because they became one heat source underneath, and now you're making a small igloo out of clothes and blankets. So this will get you through the night. I really believe that. Your bathroom is another source. Every bathroom I've ever seen, they've always insulated the tub underneath. If you're by yourself, you can put your clothes in the tub, make sure the water's off. Most of their water's shut off. That tub's insulated. It's usually got insulated walls. Pile up your clothes again, your couch cushions, whatever, build it up. If you have a sliding door on that tub, you're confining it even half the size of the bathroom now. You see what I'm getting at now? When the body heat, you're doing all this. And this is going to get you through the night, I'm single, so I'm screwed. I'm trying not to read these. Personally, I wouldn't use tent, bathroom, closet for me. But you guys are understanding the point. We really need to shake these houses. My house, if I lose the power for a very long time, like they're down in Texas, I drain the water out of my heating. My heating is on the floor, it's radiant heat. I'd have to drop the radiant because I don't want the pipes freezing. But I run on well system, so I'd shut my system down, open up the heating system, shut it down. I can call the heaters when electricity comes back on. But I'm back on my propane. I would hang a curtain on this wall, a curtain on this door, and we would bring in the mattress in this room. That propane hanging on that wall, I'd have it 90 degrees in here. So that's what I'm trying to get at, guys. And I want you to pass this information on, because there's some people I've seen the candles with the ceramic pots on there, and that's all good and everything, but you got to sleep, and you got to sleep really good. So why not just use your own heat source? A lot of us are survivalists, bushcrafts, woodsmen, whatever you want to lie. We all got all this gear, and it's all designed for outside. But an MS up sleep system inside a bathroom, you're going to be cooking. You're going to be nice and toasty warm. But for the people who are in Texas that don't have that don't have this training, but they have plenty of clothes. They have couch cushions. They have stuff like that. They once you get 2 foot of thickness underneath you, nice and comfortable, bring it up like a nest all the way around you. Cover that up, 2 or 3, 4 people. I'm going on an average of family of 4, family of 3. You cover that in blankets, you're going to be fine. Because you're inside a building in another room. I don't want to show it to you, Trinity. I got boxes piled up on it. It's my shipping boxes. You can find them online. They hang on the wall. You light them, they got a clicker. They do have an electric fan on them, but they don't need it. It's called a ventless heater. That means it's okay to run in here. It's got an open flame, but propane burns 100%. That's why you see propane forklifts inside buildings, okay? Because it doesn't give off the carbon monoxide like you think. So this is a wall hanger. It's just a big square thing. It's got an open flame. You light it with a push button. Okay, my brother just posted that up there, blue flame heater. My 30,000 BTUs. Remember, the human body gives off 300. So you can imagine if you had a 100-pound cylinder outside, I could run my house with no heating, the wall hanger that would heat this whole house off a 100-pound cylinder. Now I got a 500-pound cylinder. I could go about 4 weeks. So they're very efficient, but propane's getting more expensive. So, yeah, there you go, Clyde. $200, man. I thought about digging all them boxes out before I could show you this, but I said heck with it. It's my packing boxes for all my knives and stuff, and the stuff I sell. So I just didn't want to clean it out, guys. To be honest with you. But so if you're unfamiliar with that, my brother helped me out. But now you're understanding the point about nesting. We all talk about that, and what it made me think about is my old house, because all the doors were here. They could shut the upstairs down. If you're shutting the doors upstairs, why do I need 2 doors down here? And then a door on this. My house is not that big, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including the outdoor door, 8 and 9 doors in this house. And the farmers designed that. The windows are huge in it to get the wind through this house, to cool it down. It's also designed to be shut down. This house went through the blizzard of '78. This house in '92, when Flo and Virgil lived here, I had, in 1986, I had a 3-wheeler, big monster 3-wheeler. I come down the road to check on her, to make sure she had fuel, to make sure she's doing good. Now, she was in her 60s and 70s, and she was doing good. She was holding her own with a fuel oil furnace and bundled up. I mean, I think I scared the crap out of Flo when I knocked on the front door on my porch. And, here I'm bundled up because I've been riding a 3-wheeler, and it was 10 below zero and 3 foot of snow and, 35-mile-an-hour winds. So I think the people in Ohio and you people in the northern states were used to this. Texas, them guys in Texas just got slammed. I mean, I know I was sending a lot of memes out, making fun, having a good time at it and laughing about it. But, I talked to Jonathan Burton. He was, you could tell he was getting a little bit nervous in there. His pipes were locked down. He was running out of water. He's melting snow. A good friend of mine, James Bender of Waypoint Survival, just showed you how to melt snow. You can't just put snow packed in a thing and start cooking it. It's going to burn your pot up. So you've got to know. I encourage you to watch James Bender's on just melting stove. And I know a lot of people on this channel are bushcrafters. We all know this. But guys, it's good to go back and refresh your memory on this stuff. So, I mean, I just watched it. I've been doing research on this. Like my brother said, closer to the center of the house that you can get, the better. Walt said, yeah, propane heaters, boom. I have hurricane lamps. I have Coleman lanterns, but they burn oxygen, guys. So when they'd heat this up quick. So you've got to be very careful. I mean, every year in Ohio, when we lose power, we have somebody suffocates. It was about 5 years ago. We had, maybe it's about 7 or 8 years ago, we had Hurricane Ike come out of the Gulf, knocked our trees down, our power, everything. We got the wind from it. And a police officer was running his generator in the garage to run his house, to get his well running and everything. He walked out there to check on it. Wait, somebody closed the door. Before he checked on that thing, he passed out. But then his wife come to check on him. It was so toxic that she passed out and killed them both. So I'm talking about no heat source, no candles, open flame, you're trying to sleep, no propane heaters. I'm talking about nesting, going back to what we know. Thick layers, up the wall, pile nest, huddle together, get in there, outside, heat like rocks, bring them inside like the natives did with the sweat lodge. Yeah, Walt, but we're going to have to put them in something that won't burn the carpet or the floor. You could probably put them in your oven and open the oven door. So that would be a good suggestion if you're going to heat rocks and bring them in. You're going to try to handle a rock that's 1,000 degrees. You're going to have a really good shovel and then get it in your house. If that would roll out onto the floor, it could catch the linoleum on fire, the wood on fire. The carpet is nothing but plastic. Remember that. Carpet is nothing but plastic fibers. So we've got to really think, and I'm not trying to knock your suggestion. I think it's a good suggestion. If you had a good coal bucket, bring it in, put it in the oven. Close the oven door, leave it open, and then outward radiant. You're right, it's a good idea. Metal bucket on a paver would be a good thing. We've got to think about this stuff before we tell people what to do. Because if we don't explain them, it's bad. Clyde, we keep a generator on the back porch. I do too. There's one out in the garage. 90% I use a generator for is taking a shower because I'm on a well. I fire up my well so I can build pressure and take a shower and get my water. I'm not dependent on my water in this house except for a shower. I have a Berkey water system. I have all my water filters. I can go to the creek. I can melt snow. My grill uses wood. It doesn't use propane or charcoal, but that's a good way to melt your snow. But I'm in Southwest Ohio. We've seen this nasty stuff. We're talking about the people like my mom, who's in Naples, Florida. She's doing fine down there. It's warm down there. But if they had that cold snap, You're right, Eric. I didn't mention the mattress. You could use the mattress as a base layer. I was just using, a lot of mattresses won't fit in your closet, is what I should have said. Stephen finally got his wife to do the Berkey. But you're right on that. I would use the mattress as the bottom layer if I could get it in a smaller room. That's why I was saying use your clothes and stuff like that. If you got a single bed that you can get in your closet, absolutely. Anything we can use, couch cushions, anything you can think of to build that base layer and get us up off that floor, keep the drafts away from us. Make a pocket, make a igloo out of clothes and blankets. Heat the water. Finally got his wife to use this thing. See there. Well, yeah, you're right. I got one. He's from overseas. I can't understand him. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we're Tom Ritter, pool noodles, anything to insulate. Remember, you gotta go back. Even newspaper is some form of insulation. These walls in this house, before it got blowed insulation in it, had newspaper stuffed in them. So it gives you an idea that, anything you can think of as a layering device to get you off the floor and go. In the past, we used wool blankets. Wool blankets is killer. I mean, I'm talking to a bunch of bushcrafters out there. We all got this stuff. We got MSF sleeping bags. We're all good for this cold. We got to keep talking to people that don't have this stuff. Steve, I don't understand, but I like the look. Stop drafts and close a cell super warm. There you go. Anything to stop the drafts. That's why I said the nest. Look at a baby's bird's nest. They built the walls high and they're down in. Cuts the wind going across the top of them. Then she lays on top, spreads out, and they can handle this kind of temperature. Cardboard, another one. Let's just say, even if you did, I know a lot of these newer houses got monster bathrooms in them and monster walk-in closets. Visqueen, you could divide the room with Visqueen. Cardboard, more blankets. When I was a kid, they'd hang blankets, 2 nails up top, on top of the door frame, and hang a blanket here, just to help, everybody's got their buffalo hide, man. I agree. I'd love it, but we just got to look at the people. Think about the people who are down in Texas. They haven't seen snow. That they're not bushcrafters. There's a lot of people that are very, very cold right now. We really need to work to help them pass the word. Guys, it's all about spreading knowledge with me. I'm giving you my pointers, but there's enough of us out here to send the information south. I'm really disappointed not getting a video out on this because of my camera and my situation, stuff like that. But, not like Jonathan just said, not everyone is equipped like we are. So what can else we do? We can talk about, they can go outside on their grill, charcoal grill, get their coffee. They're up and moving. It's daylight. They're good. They can put on heavy coats, keep moving and stuff like that. It's the nighttime where you need quality sleep. Even Morris Kwansky talks about very quality sleep. You're stressed out. There's no electricity. You're not eating right. You're cold for 12 or 14 hours out of the day. People are sitting in their cars getting heat, running their gasoline for heat. So let's go back to nesting, something where they can get a good quality sleep, 8 hours of good quality sleep. If we can get the water into them, they're struggling with water, but they got snow. Keep them hydrated. Show them how to heat this water up. Keep them going, You guys are blowing up the phone tonight, man. What a rage, not understanding. They probably hadn't seen a buffalo. Translate, I think, don't understand, but I like his look. Save one family. Tom, that's what it was about tonight. I sat the night before, and I started pulling out the rabbit out of the hat. How would I do this? I'm in Ohio. Like I said, I'm backed up 3 different ways on heat. I have gear that's sitting here, man. I'm like Blackie. We all pack out our gear. I have MSF sleep systems. I have major wool blankets. I'm a bedroll. I mean, I can go outside today and go camping. I have a super shelter, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the untrained people that live in a plat, that as much bushcraft they know is probably the sharpest knife they got's a butter knife in the daggone drawer. So that's what I'm getting at. We need to pass word how to nest on this stuff, because a lot of people is not experienced on having stoves or lanterns or an open flame. Candles in the house can be bad if everybody falls asleep. Burn the house down. You with me? So let's go back to what we knew. Our cavemen knew to huddle together. The Inuit huddled together. They used no heat source in an Inuit. An Inuit Eskimo did not carry any heat source. They used a fat lamp to see, and they blew it out at night. So they went smaller, huddled together, ton of blankets. They had no heat source. It's pretty much that simple, but there's a lot of people who don't understand that. I'm going to back up a little bit on my comments. Clyde, I told you got to walk around outside with no socks on, man. Get them feet, get that blood back to the feet. Crazy weather in Ohio. You're absolutely right. We don't have 4 seasons in Ohio. We got 30. That's why we all, Ohio was laughed last week. We all own 30 different types of coats. Pepper in your socks, turn your feet pink, but it does help. Never heard that. Not everybody has the ability to build a fire out in their yard either. Yeah, if you're in a plat, man, in nice fancy houses, you're in a plat, where are you going to build a fire? Most of them don't have enough trees to build a fire. And everybody's going to be buying wood down there. So we've got to think of, most folks in Southern Florida are retired and don't know how to stay warm. Right. Hey, Robert. My grandparents lived in Kissimmee, Florida, and they got one of these snaps like this. They lost electricity. I mean, they trashed the oranges that year down there. They was all at restaurants just to get a hot cup of coffee. My grandparents didn't have the means to go out. I mean, I've got stoves out here, M50 stove, Coleman stoves. I got too many Coleman stoves, so I'm going to have fun. I can bring them in here and set them on the stove and cook with them and get me some hot coffee in there. But we're prepared for that. People in the South don't have heaters and furnaces in their house. I'm sure they got an insulated house because they use air conditioning a lot more. Yep, got 10 jackets. Is the Caspian that's in the pepper? I don't know, man. Walt, you got me on that. There you go. Eric got it. back the snow in a watertight container and place it in the corner of your closet nest to get water. There you go. Your own heat will eventually melt that snow and you got some good drinking water. Just watch James Bender's videos. Always add water to your snow. He kind of laughed about it because he said, oh, it's kind of a waste. It's not. You're getting the water back. But always add water to your snow on your pot. That's the key. It takes a ton of energy to get the snow to melt. Remember, snow is 90% air. So it takes a lot to get you going on the ice. Ray Mears does one where he packs a big snowball on a stick over the fire and it lets it melt in the container. Cayenne pepper contains caspian, and that's probably what's making you warm up. Huh, I never heard of that. I had to do some research on that one. So this is, like you said, now we're nesting again. Now if we had the ability of grill, let's just say they have their little propane grill out on their back porch. Now we go back into the hot water bottle. Remember when we were kids, you know, I'm 55 years old, there wasn't a bathroom out here that didn't have that red hot water bottle. You don't see them no more, which I think is a major mistake. When I was a kid, I stayed with my other grandparents on my dad's side in Indiana. They had a true feather bed, and when you went upstairs, you could see your breath. That room was so stinking cold. She would put a brick with tinfoil in the oven and a hot water bottle. You put it in that bed, now you're even letting your body relax that head. So a hot water bottle. Remember we all talked about, you know, the hammock guys heating up their steel bottles, putting them in a sock, putting them in their hammocks. Same thing. There's no flame, no worry about burning the oxygen out. Okay, you with me on that? So these ideas have to come with no open flame, no kerosene heaters, and keeping you warm. Now with that option, a burning fire or heating your water up. You know, would be, I know a lot of people's got grills. I gotta be grilling down in Texas. It's Texas, man, come on. I would assume there was a lot of grills down there, but eventually they're gonna run out of propane. Yep, and terrifying white tube. Asparagus is a chemical compound that is first isolated from chili peppers in constant form. I can't read the whole thing, Jonathan. But anyhow, that's where I was at. Does anybody else have suggestions? My suggestion right now, guys, is to take this video, I'll share it on Facebook, and share the living crap out of it. This ain't to help me, guys. It's to help the people down in Texas. You know, there's Melanie. Hey, put rice and beans in the oven and heat them up, place in a sock. Absolutely, Walt. There's another one I forgot. We have corn bags here. When I had a microwave, we put them in the microwave and heat the corn kernels up and then throw them in your bed, or it's like a heating pad. Yeah, I know you can't see it all. So that's what we're talking about. And it's everybody was afraid when they lost the power, and then their houses are cold enough. If you're freezing pipes, it's really cold. It's below freezing. I understand they got to shut the water off. I know Jonathan he finally got his water back on. The last report I seen on Facebook, you know, they were staying hydrated as much as they can. You got to hydrate in this weather. Guys, I've really been monitoring these storms coming in. We've been at 100% humidity, 90% humidity. It still has a factor on your hydration. The cold does. If you start feeling cold, drink water. You can warm it up. Drink water. Lots of water. We need to stay hydrated in this. So it's, you know, we got to think about keeping our hydration up. If we drank a lot of warm water, not so much caffeine with coffee in it, maybe a warm bowl of soup before you went and got in your nest, you're going to get a good 8-9 hours sleep in there. You drink too much water, you're going to get up in the middle of the night though. But if you're in your bathroom, you know, I don't think you can press it, Steven. It's just going to compact. hot toddies. There you go. Drink enough hot toddies, you don't care that you're cold no more, right? And really with snow, and I was watching James Bender, Waypoint Survival, doing the snow, and he was picking up off the top. I have one little lesson. If you look at snow really good, and it's been here a while, the branches and dust and little pieces of stuff is always on top of snow. Just take the first ½ inch off. Take your hand and just kind of scrape it, you know. And then you can, I know there's a big thing about, oh man, don't eat the snow at a lower temperature. That's kind of a myth. If you guys want a really good video on that, Morris Kohansky talks about eating snow. You can do it in light temperatures or light amounts. You're not wolfing down a gallon of this snow, but it does give you some moisture. Yeah. 28 degrees here in Fairfield County. I think we're really close to that right now. It was 30 degrees a day, guys. I was walking around with no gloves on. I had to get wood pellets from down the barn. We took the buggy out, took a little ride in it. It's been 0, 10 degrees. Now it's like walking around. I didn't even have gloves on today. I put my heavies on. I was like, I got 2 layers of thermos on, and I was cooking out there because my body's starting to adjust for the teens. Tom, it's 18 there. So, yeah, I'll take the ice from underneath. I mean, ice is if you get ice out of the river, it's good. I'd rather melt ice than I would snow. Because ice is all water. It's a lot more water than snow. So you can bust it out and do that way. But you need the water. You need to hydrate. Yeah, go for any ice. So, I mean, it's just, I seen Jonathan Burton, do a small video on it, and I thought, man, I can't do that. Pam's down there, 82 degrees today. Well, you can have it. I like this stuff. I love it. Negative 23 Fahrenheit right now, and that's where Walt's at, Steve. You're right, Steve. All the clothes, man, are going to be wet because you're trying to do stuff. Imagine being out cutting firewood. You're going to sweat. You're going to sweat. You got to get out of them clothes. Let them clothes, even put them clothes outside your nest. Let them freeze, because the freeze, you can shake it out. If you can't get a heat, don't forget to pee in the bottle. 98 degrees. There you go. You can reuse the heat off that bottle. Clearwater next week, you're going to get sick, man. Love the snow on vacation, though. Yeah. I really liked, I've told you guys I work for the state. I really like the very extreme, the really bad snowstorms. 5 years ago, we had 26 inches of snow, 30-mile-an-hour winds. The drifts was as high as my truck. I'm really flat ground. It's farm ground. It's flat. People don't believe it. The drifts are higher than my truck. We kept pushing through them. I love the extreme part of it. I think that's why I prepared. That's why I have generators. That's why I have 3 points of heat. The people in Texas didn't think it would get slammed this bad. I don't think they did. I mean, why would you? I mean, I was kind of kidding with Jonathan Burton. That ain't nothing down there. Well, then he said, wait a minute, man, we're pretty serious about this. And I didn't, because they got 3 inches of snow. Whoopee, man. Well, they have no snow plows, no salt, no way of taking care of this, no way of getting to the store, because none of them's really good at driving it. They're not used to driving. Ohioans, the first snowstorm of the year sucks because everybody forgot how to drive. By the end of the season, everybody's driving good. 35, 40, 50 mile an hour on ice, man. Just, we got this. I mean, it's just crazy. But they have no experience driving. I remember the report, I believe it was, I can't remember, it's when Tennessee got into that. There was a whole bunch of college students out hiking, and they got caught. They made a movie of it. They lost a lot of toes and feet because they had light gear. They dropped a ton of snow and went below freezing. So you read them stories, and they're not used to it. They don't have it. Outside, doors and windows, keep the drafts out. You're right. The old timers would pack the snow. They'd shove the snow up against the foundations. The old houses, I always seen bales of straw around the foundation of the houses. If it was going to get really bad, they'd pile them up on the back wall in the wind. just anything to stop that wind. The wind's the killer. But remember, if you're in your house, in a room, that's double the insulation. We get it off the floor, nested out, blankets. Really, you should be 70, 80 degrees in there, pretty easy, you know. But that was, I really broke it back down about no electricity, no way of heating your house, no backup source, trying to stay alive with no outside heat source. And it can be done. You know, your house is a good shelter. I mean, we all talk about shelter buildings. I mean, when we're out and it's cold weather, we reduce our shelters down smaller. Unless you've got more people. I just watched a video with Morris Kohansky again. If he's got the visqueen over top of super shelter, he's got his mylar over top of that, or under that for the reflection, that he says quite often when you've got 4 or 5 people in there, you'll find you'll need no heat source. You'll find it's pretty warm in there at 40 below. So it'll give you a kind of idea. So keep your area small, bring it down. Yeah, just a few more nylon blankets, man. It would be, you know, Tennessee French toast weather. Yeah, you're right. And we do too. The media gets everybody scared. I mean, my wife does work at Walmart in a pharmacy, and they blew it up. They blew these storms up. They were totally overwhelmed. People just buying everything they can, being prepared. That's the media blowing up. In Ohio, 8 inches of snow for us is like an inconvenience. You know, we haven't been shut down since like 92, 89, 92, and the blizzard of 76. I posted the blizzard of 78 or 76. Or 78, it's 78. You know, we had winds up to 100-mile-an-hour winds. Hurricane force winds with 26 inches of snow created snow drifts 30 feet tall. So, yeah, so you understand this was a full-blown blizzard. I forget what I said on there on that post was like 55 people died. One of the stories I read about one guy was probably less than a quarter mile's house. He was stuck in his car and he took off walking. When he found the fence line that runs his field, it was so blinding of snow that he went right instead of left. He was twisted around and they found him froze to death up against a tree about 2 weeks later. So because he went the wrong way, he was walking out in the field, not towards his house. Yeah, 78. Yeah, been trying to learn how to can vegetables and meat, wife and I. That's a heck of a trade. You should be learning that. I mean, my wife cans stuff, not nowhere near what we used to. Her and mom used to do that. It's not. It's just just save the money. Grow your own vegetables and can your own vegetables. It's a lot of savings. And you think, well, I can't. I mean, a can of green beans is 89 cents, but it's a lot more better for you. Yep, that's true. Hardly any heat, man. Oh man, 78. It's I'm reading the comments, guys. Vegetables, meat. Yeah, well, I mean, I keep my house, guys, at 67 degrees. It's the thermostat's right here. And what that is because if I set it up at 70 and you're dressed for being outside, you just fall asleep. Now you go in my living room, my stove's running, and it's probably 75 degrees in there. It gets too hot in there for me. Yeah, and you can't depend on the storage shelves. Yep, God's grocery store. You're right. It was an amazing story. I found it on YouTube, and it was a blizzard of. There's Philip Shaw. Hey, brother, how you doing, man? It was the blizzard of 58. It was in the Midwest. I'm bad for dates and numbers, guys. You know that, but it's like the 50s, 58. And I didn't know about it. I come across it on a YouTube video. It was amazing. They got some serious high winds. Well, negative temperatures, crazy, 20, 30 below zero. And the people in town were the ones starving to death. They're all huddled in the restaurants. They run out of food. the National Guard was called in after the event, and the government said, hey man, all these farmers are going to be dead. And they went out to the farmers, and they were feeding their cows hay from helicopters, the ones that did survive. But when they managed to get the farmhouses, plowing them out, they were taking people in, and they were just fine because they had enough wood chopped. They canned everything. They had enough storage in there. They had plenty of blankets, and they were bringing people in. Now, at a time of necessity, you think you'd kick them people, you're on your own. I only got so much resource. No, not the Americans. We brought them in, totally strangers, lived in their house for 2 weeks, eating, doing everything. Last winter, I remember that this bad was 1984. Yeah, 84 was a bad one. 1958, there you go. He pulled it up. There it is. So 1958. I could find plantain, cottontail, pine, lily bulbs. It's there. You can. And Tom, and that's a great resource, and you know that. But, we call some people preppers. Well, I never called it prepper, We just opened up a daggone big jar of green beans last night. That was planted, in the garden last year. You talk about killer. I have enough food and storage I could go 2 or 3 weeks pretty easy in this house just by the storage I've got here and the canned stuff. Yeah, we might run out a few things, but we could get by. American people aren't used to just getting by anymore. Like my father-in-law or my grandpa, they knew what getting by was about. Yeah, there you go, 72, 78. My thing is right now, I believe we're back in the cold, I call it the cold hold system. Everybody's talking about this and that. You've seen it. My daughter was born in 89. 88, we had a bad one, 92, all these years. Then it kind of warmed up, and the lakes wouldn't freeze over. Back in the 80s, I ice fished all the time around here. We'd have foot-thick ice. We're just now getting it again. I mean, we used to be below zero all the time, and we just haven't seen it. When I was a bass fishing, I fished a lot of tournaments, guys, and I wrote down every weather condition every day of the year back then, for I could study wind patterns, or weather patterns, not wind patterns. And that would help my fishing out. So when you look back at that, there was times that I never unhooked my bass boat from my truck, and I never winterized. That's how warm the winters were. We'd get a few snowstorms, but it never got cold. In the 80s, man, it was bad, dude. Jonathan Frisbee, 1983, had 38 inches of snow. That's crazy, 08, didn't we have 18 inches of snow? Yeah, I mean, we just had 4 or 5 years ago, we had 26 inches of snow, same as Blizzard 78. We just didn't have the wind with it. And we had sustained 60 mile an hour winds, but we was up to 100 mile an hour winds. And that was cold. I mean, you're talking houses didn't have insulation in it. People were hugging, bundled together, Introduction to survival school, folks. So, but this is where we shine, guys. This is what our knowledge does. Everybody here on this channel is usually from some different part of the country. And we're not here just, trying to get famous or whatever. We're just having a good conversation, get us away from the regular crap of the outside society, what's going on now. But this is what we train for. This is what we practice. This is what we study for. And this is the time to share the knowledge. And, to get these videos out to these people. Yes, I'm 4 or 5 days late on this. But it's we need to share it. And I said, about an hour, or I was going to bring it back. Blackie and me is going to be doing Sunday at 8 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard, be 7 o'clock from Blackie. We're going to do on his Facebook, we're going to do together on this. So it's going to be a good time. So guys, set your stuff, get ready for Sunday. A lot of power outages due to the ice on the trees, taking out power lines. We have ice storms down here. It takes our trees down, takes our power down all the time. when I worked for the state, I was sitting on the side of the road on US 68. They said we had trees down. We had like 9 trees laying across the road. I can remember standing in a ditch when a tree is full of ice and the ice is so heavy it collapses. And when it hits the ground, it turns the whole thing into ice cubes. All that ice hits the ground. Now I'm standing in the ditch with a chainsaw above my head with a backhoe pushing that tree before I could cut it. It's a high bank. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Worked 20 hours straight that day. My buddy slid the backhoe because of all the ice down in the ditch, and it was almost all the way completely on the side. I managed to get in there sitting on the seat sideways. The seat was at about an angle like I was sitting on the side of the seat. And I managed to get the backhoe out because we had no rescue. All the plow trucks was behind us, behind all the trees. We had one truck in front of it. He backed up, started salting the crap out of everything. I liked that kind of stuff. I liked it. It was exhausting work, but it's you know, you just jump in there and fight it. I like it. But I see a lot of problem with ice and electricity. When I come through here, it was warm. It wasn't that cold, but I rode my motorcycle to work with a hot cup of coffee, and they all looked at me, "Where'd you get coffee?" Because they shut all the power down in Xenia. And I just thought, well, man, I had an antique drip stove for my coffee. I don't run buns, don't run electricity. I said, I went outside, built a wood fire, went to coffee, plugged in my generator for hot water, took a shower, because I run electric water here. And I just didn't miss a beat. I'm not bragging. It's just I prepared for it. What's the Boy Scout motto? Always be prepared, you know. So I've been in some serious stuff, and I've not missed a call out. I never missed a call out on snow and ice because I couldn't get out here. I've had my truck's all jacked up. It's got about 9 inches total lift, and I've packed it full of snow driving through some of these drifts to get to work to plow snow. So it's my truck was set up for that. It's set up for a self-recovery. Even though it doesn't have a winch, it has a high lift jack. Blah blah blah. Like I said, we prepare for that. We understand what it's like pulling somebody out of a ditch. People in Texas, maybe they pull people out of sand down there. I don't know. I'm not from there. I know it's desert, and some parts desert, some parts rocky, some parts mountain, some parts woody. But I'm sure they got mud down there, and they pulled each other out. But their tires are different than we are, you know, stuff like that. Always love the challenges it brings. Yep. Yeah, you do look pretty weird, man. I was down fishing pretty early in the season. I just went down there to run the dog, and it was chilly out. And we run around, and I knew the white bass hadn't moved, but I still go down there and let the dog run. I was sitting on the old bridge and pulled out my chair out of the back of the truck, sit down. The dog was running. I popped out my alcohol stove and my Morse Kohansky pot and my windshield, and man, I'm sitting there, and a guy walks up to me, and he said, "White bass run?" I said, "No." He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Making a pot of coffee, man." He just I said, "You want one?" I'm making funny. No, that's cool. I mean, you look kind of weird when you're doing it, but it's sure nice and warm. You know, have a cup of coffee in the back of your truck, you know. No, they don't have no snow tires. They don't have nothing. I mean, I'm sure there's four-wheel drives down there. You know, I mean, we run a lot of four-wheel drives up here. I do it because I've always had four-wheel drives. I can't stand a two-wheel drive pickup truck. It's just drives me nuts. You get stuck too much up here, and that's because usually I'm flat up here. You pull back in a bean field or you know any plowed field, you're done. Even four-wheel drive struggle on just a plowed bean field. But yeah, they don't have the tires and stuff. So guys, I'm asking a favor from every one of you. Share, share, share. You know, pass this, get this word out to Texas, get this whole video down to Vic. You guys are throwing a ton of good examples at me. Stuff I don't think about. Keep them coming because these people will read the comments. I mean, last week I had like 192 comments, which is excellent. Excellent. Keep them coming because you get my brain thinking. But we need to get this. You know, we're all in this together. I might be from Ohio, and I'm a Northern Yankee, and I've got a lot of good friends that are Southerners. And I throwed a bunch of memes at them and was laughing at them and kidding around. It's all in good fun, but they're in a serious problem down there. So let's keep this thing going. Let's share our knowledge. That's what we do, share knowledge. Got any questions about that? Anybody got any questions on, about nesting? I'm going to coin the frame called Nesting in Your House. I think it'd be a good video if I can ever get my video stuff up. Gee, actually, I'm changing cameras right now. I'm waiting on the camera to get here. Blackie sent me a camera to make sure it's not my computer doing this. It's just a long story. Good, Walt. Do that, man. Keep, pass the word. Share the videos. About just trying to stay warm. Yep. And you guys know as well as I do. You get a good night's sleep. Your body rests really good. You're more apt to handle the temperatures that day when you're out trying to fix your water lines and stuff like that. It's all about the sleep. I mean, I've seen a ton of videos with Morris Kohansky. I love that guy. He talks about getting 2 hours sleep in a survival situation. We're in our house. If you're set up like we explained, you should be running, 7 or 8 hours sleep pretty easy. Lubbock, Texas got snow. I know William Collins, he showed a picture down there. He's in southeast Texas, and I don't think he might have seen snow before, but he had 3 inches of snow, and he said that's pretty odd. He's got a new wood burner in his shop, and, I think they're moving into there, and, he lives close to the woods, so, wood stoves and homes. You ain't gonna, that's an insurance scam, man. Wood stoves are not that bad. I go round and around my insurance on that because, about the stoves. The stove's more expensive. Freestanding stove's more expensive than an open fireplace, which open fireplace catch on fire all the time. It's just don't get me started on that. Yeah, Tom, run 4 hours of REM sleep's all you need for sleep. And you're right, 4 hours. I mean, I'm the type of person that I only slept 4 hours a day growing up. But if you could get 7, there you go, Mike. Nesting focuses on heat retention versus heat production. There you go. And if your body doesn't have, if you've got a nice igloo of clothes and blankets and stuff like that, your body doesn't have to do heat production as much. Let you relax, save them calories. I'm nice and warm. Some of my friends in Texas haven't been at work in almost a week now because of the weather. Yeah, they're down a week. Now they're going to get paid for that? Who knows? So they're already out of money. 4 to 6 is still. Rise and retire with the sun. Yep, there you go. You got to do that work. They got to work on pipes. They got to work on their house. Got to work on their cars. But if you can give them a good night's sleep, you guys all know, every one of you has had crap sleep and had to go into work next day. It's probably worse than being hungover, So you guys it's so critical to get a good night's sleep in this cold temperature. You all know, you watch my videos. I've done, over Christmas Eve, I did that. It was wind chills up to 10 below zero. With the wind blowing, I could get some sleep, but I wake up, sleep, wake up, sleep, wake up, toss, turn, cold spot, wake, sleep up. You're not getting a very quality sleep. You fight it. We're talking about being inside your house, inside a room, with all nesting, 2 or 3 people, under all your blankets, all your insulation. You're going to get 6, 7 hours, really good quality sleep, so you'll be ready for the next day. Still got to hydrate, still got to heat, find some food, heat it up. A lot of these people don't have, their whole house is electric. They can't fire their stoves up. My mother-in-law's got a gas stove. She can heat that house with that gas stove. So, it just runs LP gas. Tom, used all Tom. What best like I had. Unless you're diabetic, increase the sugar intake in your diet. It helps. Yep. Anything we can get our metabolism up. You got to kind of watch the caffeine, guys. I know the hot coffee tastes good, but you got to kind of watch the caffeine. You got to watch the alcohol. We know that. We all know that. So, but what we want to do is carbohydrates, the breads. This is when you want your carbs. You want even the steak. You want to eat the fat off the steak. You want to eat a high content of fat, a high content of carbohydrates. You keep that up. If you don't want to drink the coffee at night because the caffeine's going to keep you awake, then drink you a big hot water. Make you some soup. The old timers used, if you don't have soup, boiling hot water and ketchup makes a heck of a bowl of tomato soup. Hit it with your crackers. There's your carbohydrates. Warm your belly up. That's a cheap, poor man's way to heat your belly up. Crawl in your nest, your igloo nest inside your house, and you're going to sleep good. Yeah, so no keto. You're absolutely right. I've been back on my keto, and this would not be good for keto. Jonathan, you gotta keep this clean, man. We can talk about that. Yeah, old fat is great for substitute energy. Tom, fat is only about 50% energy levels of energy. That means when we start using our fat that we carry on our body, we actually feel a little bit lethargic. It'll keep you alive, but because the American people are so used to carbohydrates. So we're going to go back here. You're going to feel really bad, but you'll be fine. So if you can find two of the hardest things in the wild to get is fat and carbohydrates. So so if you got the pasta in your house, a lot of rice in your house, them right there make big filling. Make big pots of chili out of your beans. We all talked about beans, mashed potatoes, full of carbohydrates. Hot mashed potatoes. I mix mashed potatoes and chili. I love it. Ate it since I was a kid. My grandma used to make it. That would go in your belly. That would be like putting a daggone jar of gasoline in your stomach. Have enough meat on their bones, skinny chicken. Come on, guys, gotta keep it clean. Need to keep a good heart rate. There you go. Our brains need fat to function too. I'm diabetic, so I use no carbs. Tom, because you're diabetic, you have to adjust your diet. For that. And I am not diabetic, so I can't give you advice on that. But you have a special situation that you got to know your way. It says like, I use no carbs. I don't know what else to do because I know it'll drive your sugar up. But there's other things. You can do hot water or hot soup or, to get your body temperature in your stomach. I mean, I love chicken noodle soup or chicken soup, and we eat it, man, when it's cold like this, 3 times a week. And I know I can be sitting in the room next to my stove, eat a bowl of chicken noodle soup, and I'm cooking. I'm on fire. So, Betty's fry bread. There you go. Anything you can think of to help put that on. Cheap stuff. Mashed potatoes are cheap, guys. Potatoes are cheap. They're in the store. People don't think it's a high carbohydrate meal, but it's also filling hot meal. So, my brother, he don't like mashed potatoes. He get used to eating them. But it was, so we have to think about that. But that's up why we're running around. Carbs, small amounts mixed with fat will sustain your carbs. There you go. That's up before we go to bed. When we get up, because we're in that nice warm bed, we're going to be dehydrated. Well, you know what kind of suck factor it would be if your house is below freezing, and you're going to get up and you're going to drink some ice cold water? No way. Take a couple of them jugs in there like we talked about. They're with you. They would be melted. They'd be body temperature warm to drink them in the morning. Well, Three Sisters stew. Tell me what that is, Walt. Probably know what it is, just different name on stuff. So it's I only got one sister too. But that's what we're getting at, guys. We're trying to use this how would we use an alternative heat source? Uh, you know, if you got to use candles outside, but if it's windy outside, trying to heat a pot with candles, it's going to take a lot. Uh, Corn, beans, and squash. There you go. Three sisters. I know why they call it three sisters now. I know the Indians used to plant them all together. Let the corn come up, and then plant the squash and the beans, and they would ride the corn stalks up. That's what I thought that was about. Three sisters. Three sisters. But yeah, so we could get out and move. They got their cars, fire up their heaters in their car. You don't want to sleep in your car if you got a lot of snow around the exhaust. If you got any bad exhaust on your car, you do not want to sleep in your car while it's running. A car is a container, a small container, but they're very low on insulation. If the sun's out, the glass will radiate heat in, but it's also not a lot. But you can survive in your car. They tell you to stay with your car, but you gotta keep, we talked about this last week, keep your exhaust opened up, keeping the radiator opened up for the car don't overheat. Start it up, get it all nice warm, shut it back off. Make sure the car is cleared out. Make sure if you have a candle in that car is to crack the window. You will die with a candle in there if you don't crack the window. Using a propane torch to heat food. I have them out in the garage. I love my propane torch. I usually carry it in my truck. I have a couple of them because truck door handles freeze around here. You don't have to touch the truck, just get it close. Just got to change it 1 or 2 degrees, the truck will open right back up. Yeah, jalapeno cornbread. Northern white beans are good for this weather, absolutely. And this is where we see what today they coined it comfort food. My grandparents, anything to fill your belly up. If you're eating something that feels like a rock in your belly, you're doing the right thing, and eat a lot of it, and let that body work and digest that. But like I said, if you're back in your car, make sure you have an emergency flag on that car. Because up here, plow drivers can't see if it drifts in. I've never hit a car, but I've come close because they were drifting in, and we're digging them out. Years and years ago, I worked over Montgomery County. We had a fast-moving storm, dumped us about 12, 15 inches on the highway, shut it down. There's wrecks. We were packing our blades full of snow and shoving cars off the road on the highway. Just you couldn't believe it. Looked like a junkyard out there. Keeps the door from freezing shut. There you go, chapstick. There's another one on the rubber around there. I use silicone spray for all that. My doors usually don't freeze because summertime I use silicone spray on there. Silicone won't freeze and won't let it go. ODOT will block you in. You ain't kidding. I plowed in a lot of driveways to keep the main lines open. Why we work so hard plowing over these roads, I know we plowed a lot of driveways in. We have to put the snow somewhere. I was out in the country. I've plowed where 70 and 75 cross. I've plowed 70 on both ends of it. But the worst one was 2-lane. We plowed a lot in. But remember, we kept them open because of emergency. If somebody's having a heart attack, there's a house fire, something, we got to keep the work, open up. Jonathan, turtle wax works too, dude. Wax does everything. Water cannot penetrate wax, period. So look at all these good ideas, guys. And I that's what I want to bring up today, is get everybody's mind focusing on, for the people down in Texas. This video needs to go to Texas. It needs to say, hey man, listen to this guy, listen to all his buddies on here, every one of you. Jonathan Frisbee's used to worse temperatures than I got. He's used to a lot more snow than I got. Pam's down there at 89 degrees. I gotta laugh because it's 89 degrees. I mean, today was 30. It was a heat wave for us. And next week, we're going to be bouncing in the 40s. And that's where we should be in February. We're going to have a freaking mud mess. You're going to see flooding now. We've got probably 16, 17, 18 inches of snow on the ground right now. And it's compacted down to probably about 8 inches. But that's a ton of water. And so now we've got to deal with floods. We're going to have to deal with, roads being covered. And then if it refreezes, blah, blah, blah. I've seen it all the time. That's just Ohio. So that'll be another topic, flooded water and doing that. I've done enough of it. But we need to get this information to the Texas. I know we're kind of running late on this, but if anything helps, anything will help them people down there. And that's why I needed your guys' comments. This ain't about me, man. It's about the community. It's about our community. You guys are throwing out a bunch of stuff, man. You know. PA2. Hate Blackie. Clyde Summers. What do you mean hate Blackie? But we're going to have to, it's all about sharing this knowledge, guys. And we need to get this information down there about nesting down there and throwing your ideas. Keep throwing the ideas, man. What do you guys use? I mean, one of the things I've seen, because I got electricity, it bounced around zero. Well, I have an incandescent light bulb on a big aluminum shield. You've seen them. They're using to heat chickens up. You know, it's just a spotlight. I actually use it when I'm filming out in the garage, and I put that under the hood of my truck and leave it on facing the battery. It's just that thing with my battery will never freeze. My truck just touches it and starts right up. It's just another little idea. You know, I shut the hood. I don't slam the hood shut. I put a block of wood in there and just set the hood down. That way it don't pinch the wire. Make sure that aluminum is big enough. You know, it's not going to melt nothing around there. And I set it there and I just leave it. Just that much is enough. I couldn't believe when I cleared off my truck, right above that light, my hood had a solid sheet of ice stuck to the truck where it had been melting. That's how much heat that gives off. It's one bulb. That was a 100-watt light bulb. So, you know, I see that black ice. I thought you said Blackie. That was funny. I hate Blackie. Everybody hates black ice. That's the worst stuff out there. I spun a garbage truck. I plowed ice 75 southbound from the middle lane sideways in a plow truck. Everybody was getting out of my way. I was in the middle lane. My plow was in the left lane. My rear end was in the right lane. We were going downhill. Yeah, we do too. I mean, black ice sucks. It's worse. Don't matter what tires you got. It's just bad. Ice is bad. My brother drives a big semi truck full of oil. Highly flammable stuff. Ask him about the ice storms. He didn't work the other day because of it. There you go. You're using a gas one, so that's keeping you going. You know. Yeah, but electricity is a problem. Insulated blanket on my car battery. There you go. So it's right there, man. I didn't even know they made an insulated blanket for that. I know they make block heaters for semis and stuff like that. Yeah, in this weather, black ice matters. That's messed up. But yeah, there's another suggestion about keeping our cars warm. These people in Texas are not going to have a thermal blanket for their batteries down there. Now up in Alaska, you probably find them in every Walmart up there. But down in southern Texas, what? So an incandescent bulb. You know, they can buy a cheap treble light from Walmart. Yeah, they're out of electricity. So that ruins that. Some people's got electricity down there to help heat that car, keep that battery warmed up. Them batteries aren't used to this extreme cold. I mean, when I was a mechanic, 2 times a year we seen batteries, and that was dead of winter and super hot. You know, the batteries can't handle it. You always find them batteries, first cold snap of the season, we were changing batteries left and right. So a car can be that way, but you've already got your house. Your house is insulation, the security's there. But if you still can't get any heat, go outside. Just make sure your exhaust is open. Make sure you got no holes in your exhaust. My buddy about died doing that, putting a CB radio in the wintertime. Had a hole in the exhaust. Yeah, it was loud. But when he got out and finally got the fresh air into him, because he started to feel sick, when he got out of the car, he walked in the house, he fell over top of the TV. They thought he was drunk. What are you doing drunk? It wasn't carbon dioxide poisoning. He should have died out in that thing. There you go, Clyde. Duramax wouldn't start this morning. I mean, a light bulb like that underneath the hood on them batteries would help you out, brother. You know, I know they got block heaters and diesels and stuff like that. They don't have them in gas till you get up north. So there's all kinds of stuff we can do with hot water bottles. And, you know, I don't understand. If you look up survival, you don't see nothing on hot water bottles. There was one guy, Mike Reed Outdoors. He finally just retired from doing videos. He used to be called Bland County Survivor Man, one of the guys I love. Strictly hillbilly in West Virginia. He gave himself an enema on YouTube. He talked about giving enema. They used to give a lot of enemas back in the day. That's why all these hot water bottles were hanging in the bathrooms back then. Yeah, it's kind of crude to talk about, but people ate a lot more grindage, a lot more roughage. And that will pack you up. You eat too much of it. So they did give each other enemas. And that's one of the old doctor's tricks. Don't mean to get crude here, but that's why you see all the hot water bottles hanging up. Couldn't run last week. Fuel gelled up. Yep, fuel's no good for cold below, especially these new diesels. A horse will always start when you need to go where. Yep. We use 911 in all diesels. Yep, that keeps it from gelling up. But there you go. I mean, vehicles is another thing. We need the vehicles to get around, to get to the grocery store. I couldn't imagine myself living in the Platte, which I wouldn't live in the Platte, but they're nice houses. They're stacked in a row on each other, but especially a newer Platte has no trees in it, no firewood, no access to wood. You know, a lot of them are natural gas around here, which is good because that very, very rarely ever goes out. That's probably a really good safe, like my propane. But the electricity, you gotta have a furnace, electricity around the furnace. Yeah, don't forget heat oil activates, works better than alcohol and won't gel. Red rubber water bottles. There you go, Walt. I need to pick one up. I'm telling you, that's a good video right there, survival, man. I need to make a video on the old hot water bottle. Because you put hot water in that thing and you lay up against it, you want to wrap a towel around it. It's that hot. You put boiling water in that thing. And it'll heat up your bed right now. So, you know, a lot of these people don't have the Coleman stoves. I mean, I'm a Coleman stove junkie. James Bender gifted me the M50 stove. I was using it the other day. The pump went out of it. I got online from Mr. Canteen Coleman Parts. And he sent me the parts. I put it back together. It works great. I love it. But that stove I can bring in here, and you can't believe how much heat comes off of it if I was going to cook a bowl of soup. Hey, Clyde, I'm going to get one now. You know it. Everybody's going to be buying water bottles now. Yeah, make good water bottle. If it's clean, man, you can drink out of it. I don't know how much rubbery taste you would get out of it, but man, water's water. It's just another water container, but I think that thing can, you know, it can handle the boiling water. And then, like I said, you put it in bed with you. Even if it was 100-degree water, we run it 90 degrees. People in Texas could stuff blown insulation from the attic in trash bags. And there's a nest. Daggone, I know I like you, Mike, for a reason. Mike's daggone genius. Did you guys catch what he just said? Take the blown insulation out. You ain't gonna breathe that nasty stuff. Get your daggone mask on. Fill up your bags. Man, fill up your big hefty trash bags. Lay them in your closet and get on top of them. Shoot, man, there you go. I knew Mike's he's just a genius and he knows it. Don't forget the old time red underwear oldies with butt flap. Yeah, there you go. Dude, I got polypros on right now. You can see them. Underneath there, I got my silks on. And I'm actually at 30 degrees. I was burning up. I had my down coat on and my hoodie, and I was like, I'm out of here, man. It's way too hot. I don't know why I dress so heavy. I just getting used to dressing like this. But yeah, there you go, Mike. I mean, Mike just pulled off one of his hat right there. He's got the insulation in the attic. Yeah, it would suck to go dig the insulation out of your attic. You're gonna have to put it all back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, even the bats, what they call batting, you know, it comes in, you know, insulation and pink stuff. Even that would go good on your floor. Yeah, it's fiberglass. You don't want to lay on it, but put a blanket over top of it. Any insulation, you know. I mean, like I said, I mean, he just pulled the rabbit out of the hat on that one. Never even thought about all that insulation up in the attic, you know. You said there's no way I can be ugly and dumb at the same time. Man, I don't mean to go there, Mike, but you're a genius, man. But you got the face for radio, brother. He's gonna kill me when he sees it. He knows I'm kidding with him. I love him, man. Good dude. There's Louis Johnson. Hey, brother. You guys running late on the conversation, but that's what we're talking about. What a great idea Mike just come up with. You know, pulling the insulation out of your house down here in Texas, putting it in trash bags, laying on top of it, man. Well, Dan, that's real honest. Mike Sims is laughing. Yeah, newspaper can be laid flat. Remember the old stories, the guys laying on the park bench covered in newspaper. You could be laying flat over top of the old newspaper. Like I said, this house was full. We used to be full of newspaper. They watered it up and filled the rooms up full. The walls up full of newspapers. When you remodel a house that's 100 years old, you're going to find old newspapers in it. They do it all the time. Yet anything that will trap air. Air is the best insulator. Fiberglass, why we use fiberglass, because it's got air trapped in it. The fiberglass really doesn't do it. It just traps the air in it. See you, Tom. But it was anything that we could trap air into that would insulate us from the cold. We get into 1 or 2 foot thick insulation, man, we're going to be just fine. You know, but that's newspaper, any cloth, anything to make that barrier. You know, plastic, the thing, if you got visqueen outside in the garage and you brought it in, you divided half the room. The problem with visqueen over top of you is it doesn't let the oxygen in and out. It would be great, but you got to remember to make a hole where you can breathe, because that's going to really lock it in over top of your igloo in your closet, or just hang it in front of the door. You know. The house is breathing enough. Make sure the bottom of the door still got that crack in it for you get fresh air in there. You know, and you know if you're worried about opening the door periodically, but you're building a smaller cocoon inside there. So that's how we would do that. But like I said, I want to harp on it again. You guys got to share this video to the people that you know down in Texas, because you guys are, I mean, just wonderful ideas about staying warm. Remember, the goal here is staying warm with no heat source. That was the key. No electricity. You know, they might have a grill out there. I'm sure that a lot of people do have grills out there. But it's, you know, just trying to get nesting, stay warm. So, any more ideas? Come on, Mike, hit me with another one, man. That was a good one. You know, my garage out there, I'm too lazy to clean it up on my wood burner. I have a wood burner stove converted to waste oil. Okay, I built my whole system. It has absolutely no moving parts, nothing to wear out. When it lights, it'll heat the whole garage. So I don't worry about that. Hot hand warmers, clothes quality below. There you go, hot hands. I bet you, I don't even know if they have hot hands down there in Johnson, down in Texas. I don't know. I just, you know. Where's Hank Hill when you need propane products? I switched over. This house was all on fuel oil. One time it had a wood burner in here in the stove. They switched over to fuel oil. Fuel oil got ridiculous high and it's very inefficient. My boiler was 50 years old and it drunk it like water. So it cost a lot of money to put this boiler in here with a new propane tank. But it's 98% efficient. Use plastic laundry detergent containers as hot water bottles. They are thick. There you go, Pam. You know, there you go. Put your hot water in them bottles. If you have a way of making hot water, there's some more bottles you can stick in your nesting. Remember, that's not open flame. It's not taking any oxygen out of it. It's just supplementing your heat, your light bulb. Yeah, we can make a killing selling them down there now, couldn't we? But so there you go. There's another laundry detergent bottles. Yeah, you don't want to put drinking water in there. But hey, man, if you got a creek by and you got access to your stove to heat the water up, just sitting them in that room underneath some blankets, man. We're talking, we could probably, there's enough of us out here and we're this good. Yeah, wrapped in a towel. We could probably run 100 degrees now in your closet or your bathroom or some small room. We could probably run 100 degrees. I remember taking a motorcycle ride with my uncle, and he's passed on now. we were, he was diabetic too, and he was worried about his insulin on the motorcycle because it's like 104 degrees outside. And I told him, I said, look, I said, I want to wrap a water bottle, frozen water bottle, in a towel. And I said, I want to do a couple of these before we have cold drinking water in our boxes. My BMW had big boxes on it, and so did he. Going had the bags on it. And I said, wrap your insulin not up against it because you don't want it to freeze. And I said, that would be good for 4, 5, 6 hours. We had like a 7 or 8 hour ride ahead of us. And he couldn't believe when we stopped to check his insulin, just make sure it's staying cold because it's got to stay cold. He's like, man, I can't believe that towel at 100 some degrees going down the road was keeping that bottle froze. He said it wasn't even enough to drink it. And I said, that's the power of insulation. So there you go, wrapping the towels, man. Yeah, sounds like starting almost Native American old sweat. They did old sweats back here, There you go. I can't see it all, Walt, but yeah, you're right. Put your pee in a bottle. Reclaim the heat off that bottle, You don't have to get up and open your shelter up. You don't have to open that air pocket up to let all that heat back out. I mean, it all depends who you're with, too, I guess. Hey, there's my dad. He finally got on here. He's an old timer. He could tell you how they kept warm in them old cold houses. About layering in the beds and putting bricks in the bed and hot water bottles in the bed. And to try to, you got to get small. The colder it gets, the smaller you get. Make your own environment. Even this room's probably, it's not that big. It's probably on 12 or 14, I guess. Trying to heat this with the little Coleman stove, it would do it if I shut it all down. But that's a fuel system. It's going to burn oxygen. I wanted a third the size of that. I want a closet. Believe it or not, for as old as this house, it's got big closets in it, which is weird. But my wife's got enough clothes in there. We get two or 3 foot of thickness. She's going to kill me. Do that one hammock camping. Works great, yeah. The hammocks is got to be surrounded. You're surrounding yourself with all that insulation. And I don't, the one stuff is not going to go down to zero and maintain it. It's going to be tough. No scares before bed, Walt. Folks are really starting to complain. Go get him, Dustin. Yeah. And no beans either, man. Don't be eating beans in your little cocoon inside the closet. You'll be warm because you'll be by yourself. But that's a good topic, guys. Just I never put it together, trying to stay warm with no heat source. And so I went back to Morris Kohansky and he started talking about BTUs, the human body, 300 BTUs. He started talking about a 150 watt light bulb. Well, we've all played with that. You burn your fingers if you try to unscrew that stupid thing. There you go. My dad just piped in. Kids all slept in the same bed. That's what we were just talking about, Dad. It was huddling together, not individual sleeping bags. You're all huddled together underneath your dome, your closed igloo, whatever you want to call it. I call it a nest. We used to stay in the root cellar in the winter growing up. Well, there you go. A root cellar, if you get it deep enough in the ground, it's going to maintain 50 degrees. Well, 50 degrees is cold, but you only have to go up to 70 degrees to stay warm. You only got to come up 20 degrees. There you go. So see what I'm getting at? I mean, and that's root cellars are small. Use a small. I mean, my basement, in the summertime, my basement's very cold. It's cool. That's why you keep groceries down there. It was designed as a root cellar. So, it keeps the the food at a constant temperature, about 50, 55 degrees, and you come in from outside. The guy who owned this house was a full-blown farmer. His name was Virgil. He would come in the middle of the day, 1, 2 o'clock, and he took his naps down the basement. He had a cot down there because it was like air conditioning. This is days before air conditioning. I know we're bouncing back and forth. You know, the Texans know about air conditioning. They just don't know about the cold like we do. Terry's telling me that's why we need to share a hammock so she stays warm. Man, I don't know 2 people in one hammock. I don't know. I don't even know my wife. She's a little bitty. It'd drive me nuts. We're going to go down to Blackie's event. I'm taking 2 hammocks, but we're going to put them side by side. I was looking at 2 hammock. They keep them. Oh, what's the name of them? They keep the hammocks separated. The problem is her hammock's shorter than mine, and so it's kind of going to be kind of funny how we're going to do this. But we'll get by. We'll figure it out. Blackie will be there. He'll help me out, and that's going to be her first overnight camping. Pam says, "Trust me, it works." But yeah, there you go. Pam slept in 2 at a time. She's the one to talk about it. I'm bringing my wife's own hammock. She likes to sleep in a freaking ball. And then feet are like 220 volts sticking on your back because they're ice cold. But yeah, she's going to go down there in her hammock. She's going to be her first time overnight in a hammock, so that's going to be good. It's hard to practice right now up here. I mean, I got to drag out all the gear and set it up for her and be ready to go, but it's hard to do that because it's bitter cold and a lot of snow up here right now. But we got time. It's a month out, and we'll be up in the 40s. Mid to high 40s next week, so this is going to be a mud mess around here. But yeah, hammocks are a unique deal. You need a lot of insulation for this kind of cold. If I'm using a super shelter on the ground, I can get by with it a lot easier. Yeah, that's what I want to have to do, Dustin, is somehow lash them together. I want to make my own bars up. And you know, go like here and try to figure, you know, how to get them angled and go buckle to buckle and just keep them apart. If not, we'll use 2 trees, but she wants to be close to me. She don't like me sleeping by herself out there. Well, women in their frozen turkey butts. You're kidding, boy. I don't know how they can get that cold, but she's woke me up dead at night, man. Touch me with them feet. It's like, ah. There you go. Dustin will be there. Cool, man. We'll have a good time. We always do down there, man. You know that. But yeah, we're just going to have to practice. And hammocks is like doing all this. I mean, when I was deer hunting, it would have been nice to have a hammock. Yeah, when it's a little warmer out. But when it gets this bitter cold, it's tough to have. It's expensive to have that much insulation underneath it. So I think ground pounded. So I think I knew how to layer the ground so heavy. Leaves is one of our biggest things here. We talked about that last week, but I need 3 feet of leaves. It's a lot of work. Cats, cobots. That's a good one, man. So you understand on that. You know, we need a lot of insulation on this stuff. Hey, Dad, if you're still on there, what other ways you guys stay cold? We talked about the bricks. I remember Grandma Lutz putting in hot water bottles for me and Linda up there in the wintertime. I just remember, like, this house didn't have any insulation in it. And then they come out with foam insulation. You know, the house was a lot colder back then. I don't know if it made it hardier because of that, you know. You ain't stealing my spot, Jonathan. Remember, I own very sharp knives. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night with a strap cut. I'm just teasing, brother. Yeah, I told the old lady we'll be down there at the end where we was last year. That way I could park the car there. And actually, she broke down and we got us our own shower stall now. So that's going to be good. She's really happy about having a shower. My old lady's not much of camping, and she likes her shower. She likes a little bit of comfort, and that's fine. You know, if Mama's happy, we all happy. So, and she's a tough girl. She is. She's tough, but That's the luxury she wanted. That was her luxury deal. Was, can I have a shower and someplace to change clothes in? Absolutely. So, and then I had to find a shower big enough for me to stand in. Wrapped in foil in the oven. I've used them. There you go. Cover the windows up. He asked me, please talk more about the bricks. Well, the bricks you can bring up to 200 degrees. You don't want them, at 500 degrees in your oven, catch your bed on fire. Bring them up to about 150 degrees. They wrapped them in tin foil, then they'd wrap them in a towel. The tin foil, I think, was to keep it from getting dirty. And then they'd wrap them in a towel and put them at the foot of your bed. Now, when you look at the old timers, going back to the pioneers, they had things that they would put hot coals and look like a waffle maker, and they would slide it in that bed, and it would radiate the heat off. But that's why we talked about the bricks. Be like a rock, heating up a rock, but then you run wrapping that towel. I believe the tinfoil is there because keeping the crumbs and the dirt and everything off. Pam said, cover the windows with cardboard, create airspace, supplement storm windows. Yeah, there you go. It would. You put that cardboard up if you don't have plastic for the inside windows. Cardboard would be the way. I always remember using a gas stove with the door open to get heat, and when the power's out. As long as you got oxygen there, you're good. My dad said, all above, thank God for the pot, Billy stove in the kitchen. There you go. How many people got up? Hey, Dad, what was it like getting up in the morning? How cold was it trying to get to the pot Billy stove? There's your question. You know you didn't want to open them covers up. I had a quilt with pockets in it for the bricks in the past. Wow, I never seen that. There's Roger on there. Hey, Roger. That'd be a good idea. But I remember doing the bricks, and I remember doing the hot water bottle. But like my dad, could you imagine being the first one up stoking that potbelly stove? That would suck. How cold was the wooden floor in your house? 32 degrees. I can remember flipping them covers open, did not want to get up. So it was, but my dad's a lot older than mine. They didn't have the air conditioning we did today. They didn't have the insulation we did was, super storm windows and stuff like this. They had wooden windows, they leaked. So it was, it was pretty tough to get by. The Texans down there, after this event, they will have a mind change about having backup stuff like this. I don't know when the last time Texas experienced that kind of snow that far south. 100 years ago, I'm sure it's happened in the past somewhere. But because they live in between them storms, they don't remember. And when they buy them supplies for the next storm, it don't ever happen. Now, I'll sell that crap at the garage sale. I ain't going to use it no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a dangerous thing because they're not used to it. It's like what we call the 100-year flood around here. We got hot water, but every 100 years we get these nasty floods, Warm cast iron pots. There you go, Pam. There's another one. Heat your cast iron up. Heat it up to 150 degrees, wrap it in a towel, shove it in that bed. There you go. There's another heat source without a flame, burning no oxygen. You wrap it in a towel, keep it from being too hot on the blanket stuff, keep it from touching it with your feet. That would be a bad one. Grabbed your clothes and head for the kitchen. Mom got up first. So poor Grandma was the first one up hitting the potbelly stove. And trying to get that coffee going, something warm. So that's a good one though, Pam. Hot iron, cast iron. If you had electricity or gas stove or even outside on the wood burner, take an old towel. You don't want it too hot, guys. You don't want to catch your stuff on fire. 100 degrees, man, is a lot. All them stained privacy fences, pickets, and deck boards is man-made fat wood. You ain't kidding, Mike. I just seen a video on daggone Dave West. He was using railroad ties as a man-made fat wood because of creosote on them and the oil stuffed in them. But you're right. All them Stained privacy fences and pickets and deck boards are man-made fat wood. So you could have your fire outside. Just as long as you're in agreement when you start tearing the fence down for your neighbor, you're heating water for him too, you know. But that's probably what you'll see in the plat. Good one, Mike. Another good one from Mike. Because I'm sure there's a lot of privacy fences out there like that. Be a good source, you know, of burning. You don't want to burn that in your fireplace. You don't, you know, because it does have, you know, bad chemicals off of it. But burning it outside to heat up water would be, you know, you got to do what you got to do, you know. Yeah, I wouldn't cook on it. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't cook on it, but at least it might heat up your bricks, heat up your cast iron, keep you warm while you're staying out there. Uh, you know, and keep the good wood for cooking and stuff like that. That's another good thing. So you got a picture what it'd be like living in one of these plats, man. My dad's got wooden fence all around his house, so there's a lot of them out there. Living in the plat, they're going to be really locked down on resources. We're all bushcrafters, man. We're carrying our resources. Yeah, smokers. Yeah, because nicotine would be bad, man. You run out of cigarettes. I was a former smoker, and I couldn't imagine running out of cigarettes. You're gonna go crazy. Well, I did see stories. They were a guy was in a fireplace breaking up his lawn furniture, heating his house with lawn furniture. And I thought to myself, I seen that on the news or something like that. And I thought to myself, he's got this big cathedral ceiling in this huge living room, and he's trying to heat this with. He run out of firewood, so he's using, you know, furniture to burn. And I thought to myself, man, if your ceiling's 20 feet high, your bed needs to be 20 feet in the stinking air to take a part of that heat. You know how much heat he has to build to bring it down to ground level? That's the problem with the cathedral ceiling in the houses. If you look at log cabins, they were never that way. They were 6 foot off the ground because they knew that fireplace was inefficient. They knew to keep the heat close to the top of their head, and then they only had to heat 6 feet. You got a 20-foot vaulted ceiling in your house, man. You know how much heat is up top trying to heat that up? So that's why I said you got to struggle it down. I mean, if he had a vaulted ceiling, that'd be a tough one to heat, man. Why he's out of wood. Medication stocked up with backup supplies too. Absolutely, Jonathan. You guys take pills. You know, we mentioned diabetics. You know, I don't know how you get extra insulin stuff. I don't understand that. I know my wife works in the pharmacy. It's hard to get some of these prescription drugs early. You know, but just make sure it's hard to stock up on. There you go. Warm air sinks. Cold air sinks, warm air rises. Yeah, my dad said they slept in the loft. That's why you see cabins with lofts, because the heat was up here from that fireplace. And that's why you seen him go upstairs. I mean, when I heat this house in my living room, you all know what a heater grate looks like. It's a steel grate. There's one in my ceiling. And that's why that stove's in the room, because it goes up through that grate and helps heat the top bedrooms. They use gravity for that. They wanted the heat to go up. And they shut these doors. 2 doors down, 2 doors up. Probably in both rooms, for both rooms got heat. But, you know, that room, you can walk on my daughter's room and look down into the living room in that grate. It's just an open grate. You can see right through it. And that let the heat rise up to the bedrooms up top. And they knew the bedrooms were going to be colder. You know, they didn't care. They just knew that the heat would rise. But they had blankets and stuff. But like I said, they shut this house down. I mean, there's so many doors now. And when you look at houses that are 100 years old, look at all the doors on them. They knew to shut down the upstairs. You can sleep upstairs in the cold, keep the heat down here for cooking, eating, gathering, doing your chores and stuff. So this whole discussion is about this. And like I said, I'm going to remind everybody, because people's jumping in and out, is you got to share the crap out of this. Try to get this information to Texas the best we can, you know, and see if we can help our brothers down there, brothers and sisters out down there. little stupid things that we talk about that us bushcrafters kind of take for granted. You know, we're like, man, I got enough gear here, I ain't worried about it. Them people didn't. They don't have MS up sleep systems down there. Sure they do, but how many people really own them down there in West Texas? When you're talking 40 degrees at night, maybe, 50 degrees, 70 degrees at night. We all have it for our vehicles being stuck and stuff like that. I'm sitting there looking at my bedroll and, I got gear sitting right here next to me. We all take for granted having that gear, but we're talking about the average person that lives in a flat down there, that has no stuff like this. There you go, Walt. Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by, Walt. Had a ball, brother. So that's what we got to do, guys. That's what we got to look at, is helping our brothers out down there, giving them the information. Yeah, we can't be down there. We'd probably go down there and help them out. But what we need to do is pass them the information down there. So, I'm harping on this. Everybody needs to share it again, and send it to Texas. If you have people in Texas, tell them to watch it. Tell them to watch this. Get some information. Anything helps, man. If we can help one family down there stay warm overnight, we've done our job. I don't mean to harp on that. I don't mean to go after that. But this is not just a normal session for me. This is about picking everybody's brain and getting it down, or getting our information down, or how our Buckeyes up here can handle this. How's these Briars handle this? How the Hoosiers over in Indiana handle this? Because we're used to it. We growed up in this, or most of us growed up in this. We take it for granted, but I need to get the information. I need to get this video down there and talk about nesting and talk about that. So, and I know you guys will do that. I also want to bring back up Blackie. Me and Blackie's going to do a Sunday thing. 8 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time, Sunday on his Facebook channel. So look for that. It's going to be good. I think we're going to talk about fire. I know fire sounds funny, but when we went to Fuel the Fire down there in Georgia, we learned a lot, but we showed stuff that wasn't really talked about down there. And when we did show it, we got a ton of questions about how I use my punk wood and how stuff like that. So it's going to be another show. Lots of folks unprepared even here, not thinking of power outages. Yeah, Jonathan, we got them in Ohio, man. I mean, there's people I see them all the time going to Walmart in flip-flops and shorts. You got 10 inches of snow out there. But my car won't never quit. The house won't never quit. The electric's always there when I flip on the switch. And I've seen them froze to death. I've seen them half froze to death in their cars. And that's in Ohio. They were growed up here. They know it's cold, But some people just ain't going to get it. I do not like being cold. I know that sounds funny. I love cold weather. But I do not like being cold. Sleeping when you're cold is even worse. So that's why me and my wife, if you look in this house, I'd hate to see how many blankets are around here. She uses blankets in the summertime sitting in here. We started laughing about how many blankets we had piled up around here, because buy them at garage sales, antique shows, stuff like that. House the New Yorkers get warm, move to Florida. You ain't kidding, man. New York City's worse than us. They get a lot more snow, and we're New York State, and they get cold temperatures, man. And everybody's got a fireplace up there because they can't rely on electricity. But I think our power grid is a lot tougher because it's used to being blowed with heavy snow and ice and wind, and we get tornadoes around here like crazy. I think our power grid's maybe a little stronger. They wasn't used to having all the ice on the power lines. Everybody knows our grid sucks. DPNL, which is Dayton Power Light here, they don't put no money in. They just constantly fix it. They don't never put new lines up. That's a scam, but we won't get into that, but our grid sucks. And we found that out when, I'll tell you a story, before I come through here, I had a contract taking care of all the trucks that went around trimming all the power line trees. They quit that. DPNL thought, I'll save some money. 2 years later, we had Ike. All them tree limbs were knocking down, and DPNL got in a lot of trouble with it, because they got to maintain this stuff. But if we think about not having electricity. If you guys want to see how it's like, hey, pick a good day. Reach up there and pull that electricity. Go 24 hours without electricity in your house. See how you guys ride with it. I know I'll be fine because I've done it. It's pretty easy for us, really. The only thing I worry about is because I have radiant heat. I would suck to do that because I'd have to drain my pipes, you know. There's John. Hey, Pink. Everything's good in Dixie. Sweet. City folks just going to be screwed. Yeah, they do. But if we don't rely, I rely on electricity, computers, turn on light switch is nice. You know, at night, turn on light switch, go to the bathroom. But I always kind of laugh because even my wife's, my father-in-law, he would get sick everybody watching TV and not talking. He'd just pull the fuse box. Then they'd sit up their hurricane lamps, no air conditioning, you know, on a decent night, and they'd play cards. He said it'd bring everybody around the table. They were so bored. You shut the TV off, radios off, and stereos. Imagine the phones being shut off and sitting around playing old card games. And he did that to them kids to show them what's like, you know, how much they rely, leaving all the lights on all the time. You know, I mean, when my girls lived here, every light on the house was on. It's like, turn them off, man, you know. But it's just, we're so dependent on electricity. But try it sometime. You know, wait till the weather's better, you know, and just try it. Go 24 hours. Hey, Glenn, try that, you know, sometime. When we were down with Ike coming through here, I think we were down like 8 or 9 days without electricity. The only thing I relied on was my well pump, and that was to take a shower. We cooked everything on a grill because the grill's on wood. It's not on propane. It's not on charcoal. I can use charcoal in it, and I have, but it's basically on wood. So we ate everything. You know, all the restaurants, everything in Xenia was down, and I was building a daggone bridge right in the middle that we could not stop. So they had to bring generators out there for that. So, you know, but everything in Xenia was shut down. John Frisbee, been without power so many times. It's almost normal for me. Grew up with almost weekly power outages. This is funny where I live. It's pretty rare for us to go down electric. And I can see DP&L in the wintertime from my house. But my grids uptown was very protected in town. And it's very rarely I have electric. When we do, it's usually out for a few hours, especially in wintertime. It gets cold fast. Water technician, I got non-electric backup. There you go, Pink. I mean, right there. He's got a good saying. I rely on technology, but I don't trust it. There you go. Always have your backup. I have a backup generator for a reason. You know, and like I said, 90% of it is to run my water. I have filtering systems. I can go down and get that creek. I got plenty of snow now. I have no problem with that. It's running the well pump. That would keep me in water, but it'd keep me in the shower. It's nice to have a good shower, guys, especially because even my water heater is electric, so it would heat the hot water that way. So I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, guys. I just got a little brainstorm here. How about where do we find the water in vacant houses? If it all went shut down, people were moving out, there's water stored in houses. We'll bring that up next week, and we'll talk about water storages and stuff like that next week. You guys got to remind me because I'll forget what I'm even talking about. But it's like I said, guys. I'm watching the time. We got about 5 minutes left, guys. We really got to pray for these people. You've seen the pileups on the road. Our first responders, some firemen down there, paramedics down there. I'm sure they're getting flooded with calls from old people who can't get warm. You know, we've got to say our prayers to that. You know, if I know we can't be down there to help them, but at least we can send our knowledge down to them. I mean, knowledge is cheap, and it ships very good. We have the technology to ship it. So, you know, say our prayers for them, guys. Pass this information. Pass it. If you find something else on YouTube, Another good idea, like Mike brought up, pass the information down there. Get the word out to these people. Let's do our part. Let's do our part to help them. It's just knowledge, man. They can take it or they can leave it. But if it helps one family out, just by you hitting the share button, is what we need to do. So guys, what I want you to do right now, I know we're getting ready to bug out of here, is give me a ton of likes and stuff like that, because it helps on this channel. Hit that like button. But it also, I need you guys to really share with us open. I'm gonna finish it, and I'm gonna share it. And I see them coming across, guys. Thank you. And I see that. We're gonna share this. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it again today and tomorrow. I want to keep it up on top of Facebook and keep it in Facebook to go. This ain't about me, guys. This is about helping our fellow people down there. This ain't about, me trying to get my channel bigger. Right now, I don't care about none of that. I care about when I was making fun of Jonathan Burton, and it bothered me after I made fun of him, because it's like, oh man, he got 3 inch snow, no big deal. He got in a bad way. That's one of our brothers in bushcraft. He's very good. He's got a really nice YouTube channel. He was doing a overnighter, and he quit during his last video. He said he had emergency at home. That's when all this stuff was hitting. So guys, hit him up. Jonathan Burton's, his skill level is very high. But pass this word. If we can't be down there, but we can sure pass knowledge. And the prayers are cheap. They really are. They take 5 minutes out of your day. Let these boys warm up down there. They're fellow Texans and Oklahomans, and everybody in that belt down there is getting a nasty cold snap. So guys, I want to head off. I appreciate every one of you guys sticking out with me tonight. I know you guys are going to do great sharing this stuff, getting it out. Next week, we'll probably talk about water and water storage, especially when it's this cold. We'll go from there. Guys, I've had a ball tonight. I think we had a good show tonight, man. I know there's a ton of comments. A lot of good ideas. Want to thank you. But remember, pray. Thank you, everybody. And look, we're all doing good up here. We're all warm. We're all snuggled in. There's people don't have right now. They're down there shaking, and that ain't right. So guys, have a good one. We'll see you, man. Stay abnormal, every one of you. See you guys. Bye.